I'll put the question back to you. If Ebola has an outbreak in the Western world, will the media in the Western world treat it the same way?
Are you unhappy with the way the Western media has treated the Ebola outbreak?
I mean, all the phantasma comes back. Africa, the dark place, Africa this, Africa that. I mean, I was in a taxi in New York, and we were talking, I was talking to the driver. The driver said, where do you come from? You have an accent. I said, I'm from West Africa. The first word that come out of his mouth is Ebola. I mean, that's what the media are doing.
What did you say to him?
I tell him, no, I have no Ebola, otherwise I won't be in this country. Do you think that everybody in Africa have Ebola? I was giving a lecture in a primary school in Palm Beach. A little boy, 9 years old, tell me, did all the African kids, we can see the ribs? That's the image you give to people. I mean, the media have responsibility in this. The outbreak of Ebola is there. What are we doing to help strengthen the health system of those countries? We're doing nothing. We are using it for political benefits. I mean, it's just like, looks like the Western is the hyena feeding on the misery of African people to make themselves elected or to take benefit out of it. They should be shameful doing this. I mean, what is this? I mean, everybody's phantasma about Africa is always negative. Any success story from Africa doesn't interest any media. They are so eager and hungry for horrible story from Africa. Why? If Africa does bad, everybody do bad. People that put gas in their car, where do gas come from? Their countries? All the people are living large in this country and in the Western world at the cost of whose life? Instead of helping the country strengthen their health system, there are nurses, there are courageous people in Liberia, Sierra Leone, Guinea, that are working day and night to stop this outbreak. And instead of giving them courage, instead of supporting them in many different ways, we are counting how many people are dying.
It's fear, isn't it? Maybe we're afraid of this disease, and that's why people are reacting in the way you say.
But the thing is fear. Who started the fear-mongering? The media. I mean, Ebola have existed for the last 20 years. Why don't anybody come up with a vaccination? The pharmaceutical firm, they knew about it. As long as it's in Africa, it's killing African people, nobody cares. And the fact that it can come to their country will start moving up the ladder now to come up with something. When we say we are living in a global economy, it's true. But we also live in the global crisis and global viruses because we travel all around the world. So if there's a problem in Africa, you don't help the African people fix it, it's going to come to your doorstep. It doesn't mean that we create Ebola. We don't invent Ebola. Ebola is just a disease that exists there. Like, we're going to be blamed also of inventing malaria too? Or we're going to be blamed for everything? I mean, people forget the history. How many people have died when the Spanish were in Mexico? When they bring a disease that wiped people out, the Indians out.
Well, on a more...
I mean, Africa is not just diseases. Africa is beautiful.
Of course it is. And on a more optimistic note, I mean, I think many economists now say Africa is rising.
It is.
Is it?
It is. I mean, it's the only part of the world where you have growth. Europe is sinking. Everybody's sinking. We're going up. And then, of course, here comes Ebola. And then they can put us back on the level where they can control it. It's not going to work anymore. There's one thing that is a game changer, is internet. The young kid in Africa, they know what time is it today. It's going to be very difficult to play the game that we used to play 20, 50 years ago. Today it won't happen anymore.